There's a myth that only bodybuilders and men who want to bulk up eat protein. You're 50 and I want to start running today. I want to do a 5-kilometer run today. And I'm 50. How can I start now? There is no such thing.
Hello and welcome. We're breaking the rules, but what rules are we breaking? Well, sometimes not only do we talk about breaking rules, but making them. Here on the show today is Priyanka Sehgal-Mehta, who is a fitness expert, understands women's bodies and what's happening with them in perimenopause, and has truly become an advocate of women's health over the course of the last decade. Thanks very much, Priyanka. What a pleasure to have you with us.
The pleasure is all mine, Shelly.
My first question, why are women finally waking up today to focus on fitness from within and, of course, fitness in general?
Okay, so interesting question. So why is it the women are looking at themselves more critically today, and the focus is around fitness a lot more? I think society in general has become a lot more open to various aspects of a woman's body and the fact that their needs, their physical needs, are different to that of a man's. And I think, with the internet and social media and all of that, I think people are a lot more open talking about their issues and about things in general. So I feel that that's possibly a big reason why people are more comfortable talking about women-related issues, or, mindset changes, or issues they might be having with their spouse, with their children, things like that. In the earlier days, I think, things were a lot more conservative, or people never spoke out as much. So perhaps that's one big reason why.
Why is there some sort of hesitation in the way women see themselves when it comes to being people who should seek fitness, who should seek better health, who should celebrate their bodies? Rather than that, they keep waiting till it's too late.
I think so. I think women are way more confident today. They do believe that it's not only the man of the house who has to stay well, bring in the money and all of that. It's an equal share. And that does not only mean monetarily, it means health-wise too. Because if you're the mother of the house, in a family, and you're not very well, whether it's physically or mentally, that's going to have a percolating effect down the line. So definitely, I would definitely think that's a big point there.
What makes women today proud of getting back into truly focusing on their own health? Why now? Most importantly, how are they doing it now?
So I think it has to be the fact that fitness per se has come into everybody's lives in a very big way. So the moment you feel fit, and I think more and more people are taking to fitness, and there is no age any longer. There is no age barrier as such to say, you're 50 and I want to start running today. I want to do a 5-kilometer run today. And I'm 50. How can I start now? There is no such thing. You can start at any time you're ready. So the moment you start feeling fit, you look fit, and it has an effect on your on how you look. You get a spark. So I guess that whole age does not matter anymore, because you feel good about yourself, and that's all thanks to fitness, I think.
So clearly, fitness isn't about chiseling the body. It's about looking within. And when I say within, it's not some mushy idea that's philosophical. It's actually putting the right stuff in your body so that your tissues, your muscles, your skin texture, everything comes out much better. Tell us a little bit about how that shift towards health has happened.
Yeah, so so chiseling the body is definitely an aspect. However, you'll see a number of women actually who are not thin or skinny, but they are super fit, right? So there is, so obviously that does not work as such. You don't have to be chiseled and look like a model and all of that. So every time you work out, you release endorphins. Those are happy hormones. You get a dopamine kick almost. So tomorrow, there are enough marathon runners who actually get the high you get post a good run is equal to a serious kick you'd get from substance, right? So and that's a serious mood lifter. A mood lifter, again, keeps you happy, keeps you going, keeps you buzzed through the day. So definitely, I think it's the hormone release which is what is helping in the uplifting the mood and the rest of your thinking.
Priyanka, as somebody who's been an advocate of women's health above 40, what exactly is going on with women at that age? How is perimenopause truly stirring up things for them? And how are they looking at health in that respect?
Okay, so women entering perimenopause need to strength train. It's medicine for them. Now, why do I say it's medicine? Is because with your estrogen levels declining, there is a shift in your bone density. Now, the moment you start lifting weight and you work out and you strength train regularly, the rate of decline is reduced. Now, the moment that happens, you're obviously helping yourself out, right? You're ensuring that you stay well, you stay fit for your family, for yourself, and life goes on, right? So I think that's a very, very important aspect of for every woman above the age of 40 has to strength train with a vengeance, I would say. Cardio can also be reduced to a certain extent because what happens with excessive cardio and very high intensity workouts, there is a buildup of cortisol in the body. So it is recommended that increases the inflammation levels, which women are facing as is already. With perimenopause, you have a lot of inflammation in the body. So there is a shift in thinking now where you can reduce the intensity of your cardio, increase the intensity of your strength and your lifting, because that has more benefit to you during this stage of life, of course.
Maybe we can unpack this for our users, unpack what is perimenopause, how does life after 40 change for women, and what is it that they should watch out for?
So when you hit perimenopause, and that can happen to various women at different ages. It can start in your late 30s, in your 40s, and that could be genetic. It could be how your lifestyle's been, or various reasons, really. So typically what happens is your estrogen levels start declining. There are a lot of side effects. So, people suddenly get an irritable gut. They get gut issues, they get thinning hair, they get loss of hair, they get, face acne, they get a lot of, joint pain, they feel extremely fatigued, mood swings, things like that. So there are a lot of actual physiological changes which happen. Now, typically in the past, what has happened is people used to say, "Kaman mein dard hai, let me go to the orthoped." To be honest, the orthoped will treat the symptom. Now, unless you give him the background, very often, you're not solving the real issue. So we know that women in that particular age bracket need more than just going to a doctor for every little thing. And believe you me, every little thing starts troubling you at a point of time. And now perimenopause can vary in terms of time. So it can be like a 3-year period for some, and going right up to 7 years almost till you hit proper menopause, which is characterized as 1 year of being period free. So, it's extremely important at that time. The one thing you can do for yourself without medical intervention, and there's enough science and there is enough out there to prove that, doing weighted strength training is your answers, is a way by which you can help yourself.
So how do women get familiar with perimenopause, and what are the 2 or 3 things you think they must do when they know they're there, or at least are facing the symptoms that they're there?
Okay, so how do you get familiar? First, I'll take that question in 2 parts. How do you get familiar with the fact that you're in perimenopause? Of course, when you start feeling a little different, you've got aches and pains, you've got issues happening, don't ignore them. So definitely go to a gynecologist. There are certain tests they can do wherein they check your various hormone levels, where they might be able to guide you and say, hey, we think you're perhaps entering the stage. Of course, they do internal investigations and things like that. So a gynecologist very often can tell you. Also basis your age and, the other symptoms you say which are non-medical, non-physiologically evident from a medical practitioner's point of view, which is things like mood swings. Like somebody goes to the doctor and says, I'm just pissed off all the time. I'm just irritated all the time. Those are all signs. Those are all things. So look out for the signs. Read up. Read up. So basically, when you feel different, don't ignore it. Go to a doctor. Google is not your answer. When I say read up, first go to a doctor, get diagnosed that you are actually in that stage. Read up relevant stuff. There are a lot of doctors out there who've written some excellent literature and stuff for women to read up on, and you actually at the end of it feel really good about it because you think, hey, I'm normal, there's nothing wrong with me, right? And that tomorrow if I have acne, I don't have to go running to the dermatologist because it's possibly just one of the other symptoms. Yeah. Right? And if he tells you to take steroids because it's not going, then you know that it's possibly not really needed. Yeah. So now coming to the top 3 things, so I've kind of covered it. Definitely seek some medical help. If it's really affecting you, your mood and your happiness quotient, seek help again. There is no harm in going out, talking to people, speaking to your friends. Other women are going through this as well. Go into support groups, talk about it. There is so much out there. Read up. That's the other thing. And, talk to your spouse. I think that's a really big one. I think educating your spouse with the changes which are happening to you is huge. It's huge because the family needs to understand that if you've got a flare up, rather than pointing fingers and saying that you have an issue, they try to understand. It's not very easy. It's easier said than done, but it does help hugely. Right. And of course, the last one, very important, is strength train. That's it. Yeah. Take that in your own hands.
As a fitness trainer, and I know you train a lot of women who are also homemakers, and you train young children. Why is protein literally the most important ingredient of a growing up journey? Whether you're aging, whether you have perimenopause, whether you've just crossed 35 or 40, why is that important?
Okay, so protein is always looked at very skeptically, and typically everybody says, and especially in India, wherein protein I think is a very new concept. And when I say protein, I mean the protein powders and supplements, not the natural protein. So the moment you go to a woman and say, I'm 43, she says, protein intake increase. So I'm like, okay, I will do it naturally. It is not enough. I mean, you need between 1.2 to 1.4 kilos per kilogram of body weight of protein. Now, an egg will give you 7 grams. That's not enough, even if you have 2 eggs. Okay, a vegetarian has very limited sources. Again, there are many, but it's still limited. It's very difficult to hit your daily intake with natural protein. If you are working out, you need to supplement because you have to look at tissue repair. Extremely important because, as we discussed earlier, with the dipping estrogen levels, your bone density takes a hit. Now, because of that, you really, really need to ensure that you keep, you take that protein intake so that your recovery is better and nothing else gets affected more and more. So, now coming to me and my experience with protein, I started off with protein again, like everybody else, wanting to stick to natural sources because I was like, okay, this is not for me. And I believe there's a myth that only bodybuilders and men who want to bulk up eat protein. And I was referred to have some sort of whey, but because I had certain other gynae issues, I was then told that stay away from whey, and I started looking towards plant protein. Now, plant protein is a bit of an acquired taste purely because it tends to have a bit of a chalky aftertaste. So I stayed away from it for the longest. So much so that I stuck to whey till of course this doctor told me that I had to, but I was quite adamant about it, and I used to get really bloated and feel quite miserable, to be honest, even though I used to take it because I was stubborn and I need to do it. So once I shifted to plant protein, I suddenly found that that gassy bloating feeling just completely disappeared. And okay, initially, the first couple of times I took it, I had to get used to the taste, but knowing that I had to take it really helped. But having said that, I think plant protein has now come a long way. You've got fabulous flavors, very light on the gut. And, I just think I'm very happy that I switched to plant protein, and it gives me my 24 to 26 grams a shot. So I know I'm covered for a good amount of my daily intake. I mean, I still have a lot to go, but that should be okay with natural food.
So we have a tendency to say, okay, I'm just going to put some Vicks or Iodex or Move or something like that and power through joint aches, power through pains and headaches and migraines and anything else that comes with perimenopause. The symptoms, I believe, are about 563. Every woman gets a different symptom. Why is it that we let this happen? And why should we not?
Okay, I think this problem would be particular to a country like India, where you've got alternative medicine, things like homeopathy, Ayurveda, and there is a lot of emphasis on going the natural way, which is these other forms of medication per se. You call it medication. I'm treating myself with Ayurveda.
The protein is just as natural.
Well, absolutely, but people think you're taking in something which is not being cooked in the kitchen. It's the powder. It's not the. I've come across women who've actually said, "Sattu le lo, sattu powder le lo. It's great. It's good enough. Why do you need to take?" So I'm like, you have your sattu. There's nothing wrong with sattu. By all means, have it. It's yummy. It's great in summer. Have that in addition. Have that in the evening. Post workout, within 20 minutes of your workout, have your protein shake. No one's stopping you. You've got enough of protein you need to cover in the day. So it's not like, you're by consuming 26 grams, you're killing it. So you can have that in addition. So I think it's a mindset. And in India, people seem to think that anything which is bought off the shelf pretty much and not cooked at home, might not be healthy, or might have side effects in some way. So I think it's just busting that myth and making people a little more aware that things are not. I mean, my daughter, who's all of 15, she works out, and when she comes back, I give her protein, because I do believe she's not, she needs to supplement from the word go.
What is the Priyanka Mehta journey? How did you become a fitness trainer? I mean, a decade ago, people were not even understanding the concept, and certainly not thought that women would be a part of it.
So, believe it or not, while I was growing up, I didn't have an athletic bone in my body. I was quite, I was a bit of a bookworm. And, when I had my kids, I realized, I put on a lot of weight. So my I got into fitness purely like anyone else to lose some weight, some maternity, some of that baby weight. And I met a friend on the treadmill, and she actually was running the Airtel 6-kilometer run. And I'm like, okay, if she can do it, why can't I? Right? So it was literally on a whim. And I asked a friend of mine who I knew was a runner, and he's like, yeah, why don't you try it? And I think that was my life-changing moment. And I took to it. I really enjoyed it. I think it was the whole high, the endorphin release, all of that. I wasn't working at that time. I'd just kind of quit work because I wanted to take a time off after my children's, so that I could be with them. We didn't have any direct family around, so I needed to be home with them. And, I started seeing that I was spending a lot more time going out running and then going to the gym, because I needed to strength train, to ensure that I run better. So the strength training at that point started as supporting my running, not as a standalone. So, and that has of course changed over the years, which I'll come to in a second. So it was at that point just weight loss and things like that. And, running was helping me with all of that. But somewhere down the line, I felt that, okay, this is really interesting. This is really exciting me. So I said, I thought I'll start training my own children. Let's start from the word go. But it's not always very easy as a mother. They don't always listen to you. So one day I was with the kids, and a friend actually came up to me and she says, hey Priyanka, why don't you consider training children? So I'm like, oh, okay. it's an idea, let's try, right? These are all friends of my kids, so should be okay, and they'd be okay to listen to an auntie. So that's literally how I started, very raw, in the local condominium, and I started that way. And then one thing led to another. It's been many years now. It's been almost 12 years now. And I started with kids, and I still train kids, and they are my primary trainees, I would say, because I do believe that it has to start from the word go. Things have changed too much, the kind of food we eat, junk on tap, all of that. So the kids need to understand that while you do all of that, you've got to also do the right things to stay fit. So for me, I'm very passionate about children's fitness. That's one. Then again, for adults, it so happened that I was training the children, and then one of the mothers saw me and requested me, would you be able to train me? So I'm like, I haven't done it, but I can. And in the meantime, what I'd done is I got myself certified. So, and that was very important because I wanted to upskill myself as well. And there were certain, things around fitness which you need to know, physiologically as well, and things like that. I did a running certification as well. Because I decided to train children in long distance running, both sprint level and long distance running. So I needed to know my work. So I did some certifications, and I've been training ever since. And there's been no looking back, really. I'm enjoying it. Talking about strength training, it's shifted for me because now it is health related for me. So apart from it being supportive still for my running, it's no longer, it's a must. Now, whether I run tomorrow or not, I need to keep training because that's one thing which will keep me young, feeling young, looking young, and, physiologically also it will help me.
Priyanka, if you can bust the myth of beauty versus supplementation for health, because lots of the times people are willing to spend thousands of rupees on, 10 steps skincare, 5 steps skincare. But when it comes to health, they're always wondering, should I not? Should I not? Can you just unpack that for us?
The glow you get post-run or post a sweaty workout is unmatchable. You can put as much makeup as you want, but there's a batti which comes on in your face. And I know so many of my friends who run, and if you see their skin, there's so many of them are above 50. And I keep looking at them and I'm like, oh my God, if only, right? And I'm hoping in time that might just work for me also. So even though you've got sun exposure, all of that, you're running and, you're out there. Not everybody is out in the open as much as, people who run or work out in the, but I just feel there is a glow which comes on, which is coming from an inner happiness. It's the hormones, again coming back to the endorphins and all of that, which kind of give you that spark. There are days, let me tell you, there are days where you can look very tired. Yeah, if you've had a hard run, the weather's terrible as it is now, humid, you can come back looking absolutely dog dead. You can, it can happen. But if you put a person who works out or, in any form versus a person who doesn't, you will see the zing in that person. Now, it's the energy around the person, it's the aura, it's the spark, it's the oomph, I don't know, but it's there, right? It's not going to stop the wrinkles on your forehead. It's not going to stop your crow's feet. None of that. That is there. That is a given. But you overall, you have a healthy aura about you.
Yeah,
that's it.
Double click on supplementation for us because, in your own voice, you're mentioning the need for it. But there's this desire to feel that if it's anything health, it should not come from outside. It should not be something that's purchased on shelves. Can you finally tell Indian women to wake up and smell the coffee on this?
I do believe there is nothing wrong in supplementation. If you need it, you should have it. It's more preventive than a cure. So I would rather go into in preventive mode, so be proactive than be reactive. And if you see the kind of products out there today, they're all got good ingredients. People are very aware. I read, the composition of everything I put into my mouth. So, I wouldn't put in something which is going to potentially harm me. They are not medical. They are nutraceuticals a lot of the time. And again, if you know how to supplement, now there is a technique of supplementation. For example, if you're having vitamin D, for example, you need to consume it with a little bit of milk or some sort of a calcium supplement as well. It's important to do that for better absorption, right? Again, so if you're taking iron, you've got to have it with something else. So there are ways in which you supplement. It's always nice to get that advice from a professional, someone who knows how to supplement effectively, because it just doesn't work. Every Sunday, I'm just going to pop a vitamin D, or I'll do calcifer, I think the powder, or I'll do vitamin D, uprise Gytree, or whatever you want to have. But there is a way of having it. So just having it just on a whim will not help. Get the right things. Get your blood work done consistently every 6 months. See where you stand, and supplement. Nothing wrong in it. It will just help you.
I want you to talk to us about Gytree's Menopause Protein Blend. You've been having it for some time. What is your feedback, and why do you think it energizes you?
So I started with Gytree first with the total strength protein, the cafe mocha, which I really enjoyed. And again, that was on the back of the fact that I had to move to plant protein. I was resistant earlier. I moved to plant protein, and I found it very light, no bloating. I started feeling really good, and I used to really look forward to it post-run. Mostly post-run is when I have my protein, and post-workouts on days I don't run. And then, of course, Gytree launched the menopause protein, and I decided to try that. I think for me, what was a real win-win with the menopause protein was it was less sweet. It tasted less sweet. So not that the other one didn't taste great. It did. But for me, for some reason, I enjoyed the menopause protein a lot more. And I also felt good because it was catering to my stage of life. So somewhere, even mentally, I feel safer. I feel covered in all aspects. And of course, it tastes great. It tastes similar, other than the fact that it is lighter, and no bloating, none of that. In fact, I really enjoyed it, and I'm only using that now because it helps. It really helps.
Priyanka, it's such a pleasure having you with us. And I really think people like you are becoming true advocates of women in their 40s and how they can truly take charge and find a new leaf of life rather than wonder, why am I stuck here? Thanks again.